Hey everyone, it's Audrey Byrne from Audrey Lynn Studios on the west side of Canada in British Columbia near Vancouver. So today I have a glaze-a-long for you. It's for, well, I called it peppered drip. Can you see? It's quite dramatic. I love it. So I thought I would film it as I did it and then present it to you now. So let's go. Okay, here's a mug I threw with Plainsman 370 white stoneware. And first I'm just going to give it a sponge to get the dust off and open up the pores a little bit. And then I'll just inspect the cup a bit before I get started. I don't see anything that is too bad. I see here maybe a little bit of a divot, so I'm just going to grab my sanding pad and get rid of that. All right, so I have this flexible sanding pad from Diamond Core Tools, and it's 120 grit. I also have a harder one, but these things here, I found something similar on Amazon that for this kind of a sanding thing, it works fine. So they're diamond hand polishing pads, and they're in different grits. So 200, there's a 50, and it goes all the way up to 3000. So you can see here it's very coarse. Yeah, just different grits. Here's a very small grit, that's 400, 200. So sometimes I'll just use those, but I have my Diamond Core here, and what's nice about this being on a curve and this being flexible is that I can just sand this on the curve, right? There we go, it's all gone. Anything else that I think needs a little bit of a sand? No. All right, so now I'm going to sponge that off because it's dusty and I filled the pores again. So here we go. Open up the pores. So on the inside, I'm going to use Mako's Peppered Plum. I got this in my sample set and I still have it. And it wasn't my favorite, but now it's getting more and more to be one that I like. I really like it with Flux Blossom by Amico. Anyway, so we're just going to glaze the inside here. Now, I use two different kinds of brushes. You've seen that in my other videos. This one's like a makeup brush, like it's fluffy. These brushes I tend to use when I'm glazing texture, because I find these brushes almost put too much on and then my texture is filled up. But I like these for flat surfaces. So I just kind of go in between. So yeah, in here, I'll use this because I'm just going to do 2 coats. It's a flat surface and yeah, I think it's going to work. So I'll just wet my brush a little bit. And then I'm going to use a chopstick and we're going to keep this glaze suspended. We want the crystal suspended, we want the particles of the glaze suspended. So, and here we go. It's pretty crystally. So you can see how thick that glaze is going on with this brush. It's not that using the other brush makes the glaze go on thinner. It's just that it has a little more spring in the brush, the other brush, and I'm able to control it going into texture more. Okay, so that's the first coat. Okay, so here I have my recipe. And I have put that my liner is peppered plum times 2, and I've done 1 on the inside. So let's stir this up again and do 1 more on the inside. I find generally with crystal glazes you only need two coats usually. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll just put, we're going to be using this again, so we'll just put that there. I think we are, or do I want the other one? I might want to use the other brush. Anyway, we'll let that dry. Okay, so according to my little map here, and I have these forms on my website as a free template, www.audreylynnberm.com. Okay, number 1 is 1 times honey flux on the outside. And I'm doing that as a modifier. I'm hoping that it's going to give it a little more drip. Yeah, just because I'm using the slow cool program and not the straight cone 6 hold for 8 minutes. So let's get the honey flux. This is Amico honey flux. Give it a good shake so I don't really need to stir it. And I'm going to use this brush, I decided. And I decided that because I'm going to end up having 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coats on here. So I'm going to just use this brush. So first I'm going to do the handle, just because I can't hold the inside yet. It's still a little bit wet in there. And so I'll just do this handle. This handle was done with diamond core pull, handle pull. There's a few profiles I like. So let's see if I can show you. It has a, yeah, your thumb fits in it nice, which is good. I usually use a Kemper one though, because I really like those handles too. But I think what happened here is I couldn't find my Kemper, and I like this one. So okay, so let's see if there's a dry spot that I can hold this. And we're going to just do the outside. So you can see this brush has just a little more spring. There. A little bit right in there. Good. And I'll just let that dry. I have 2 pots of water here, and one I put the dirty brushes in first, and I'll let that soak and then give them a little swish, put them in the clean water. Okay, so yeah, I forgot to mark it down. I did 2 coats inside, and I did my 1 coat of honey flux outside. Now number 2 is 2 times peppered plum over the whole thing. So let's put that over there, and I'm not going to use this brush. I'm going to scrape it up into the pot and put it into the dirty pot, dirty brush water. Give that a stir. And I'm going to use this style of brush again, but this is smaller. So when you buy these, they come in, I think maybe there's 8 in a pack and they're different sizes, which is very handy. All right, so let's start over here. So you see how it has a little more spring in it, this brush, and I like it especially in the grooved areas. There we go. And I like to keep my glaze rather light around the handle area, because it'll drip off your pot. So it'll drip off your mug this way, it'll drip in here and bubble, and in here and bubble. So I try to keep it on the light side in and around the handle. Especially when you're going to end up doing a few coats, right? So you'll see as I go. All right, so that's the first coat. Just do that rim, put that down there, and mark it off. You've done 1 coat of peppered plum. So we'll let that dry, clean our area here. Let that dry and then do the next coat. Okay, 1 more coat of peppered plum. Okay, so now here I am around the handle, trying to keep it kind of light. Coat kind of light here. And so there's a little bit of friction between the mug and the glaze, but I don't mind that here because I don't want that dripping. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Okay, so I don't need this brush anymore, and it'll go into the dirty brush water. So we'll that chopstick, and we'll let that dry. Okie doke. Now we're going to use, according to our little recipe, we are going to go to number 2, and that is going to be 2 times, oh, sorry, we just did number 2, sorry. 2 times peppered plum. So let's put that second coat on there. Number 3 is Muddy Waters, and that actually should be coming from the top down like that. So it'll be Muddy Waters from here to about there. All right, so here's Muddy Waters by Mako. Give it a shake and a stir. Yeah, good. So this also has crystals, and it's a good idea to stir it as well, because there could be crystals just really stuck on the bottom, but there isn't, so that's great. All right, so I'll use this springier brush, and I'm going to go to, oh man, it's not dry yet. I have to come back. Okay, I set this baby in the sun for a bit by the window. Okay, stir that up again and start putting on our Muddy Waters. And I'm going to go right about there. All right, And so now most of that glaze is off my brush, so I feel pretty good about going in here. And then quite a bit of it is off there, so I can go in there. All right, that is coat 1. All right, so let's just put this here and mark this down. And we'll let that dry. I'll go put it back in the sun. Okay, now we'll do our second coat of Muddy Waters. And we'll let that dry. And so this will now go into our dirty brush water. Okay, last step, we're going to put light flux on the rim and I think a little bit on the bottom. Ooh, yikes, that's not the light flux I was using before. One moment. Okay, clearly that one needs to be strained. So, let's just give this a stir. And light flux should be a little bit on this kind of pudding side. So what we're going to do is put some of this on the rim. Let's see if I can get that better angle for you. Okay, yeah, you have to be careful of that because these glazes on here have crystals, and you don't want them flying into another glaze like it just did. All right, and I'm going to do one right here. Like that. And I'll do some right here. I'm not going to do any here. I just do not want to risk that pooling there. So, okay. I hope I wasn't off camera there. Anyway, there we go. And that's going to go into a slow cool firing. We'll see how it turns out. Okay, so I hope you understood everything and that I explained everything well enough to you. Give it a shot. So if you enjoy this video, please like and comment and share and subscribe. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. All right, okay, so peace out.